Today we continue our trip in the Lau group. Together with our friends on Wild Thing, we're on the move again. In this episode, we take you with us to visit one more island in the northeast before we head to Fulaga in the Southern Lau. First, we're starting off by leaving Duff Reef and sailing the short hop down to Vanua Balavu. Once again, we have to go through a pass, but as you can see, the reef can easily be seen and the pass is quite an easy one. We've been to Vanua Balavu in 2020. This time we're anchoring in a slightly different spot. The charts are once again not so detailed, so we make a slow approach and creep our way into the bay until we're happy to drop anchor. It didn't take long after the anchor went down before the kids got together to scout out the new surroundings, and so did I with my paddleboard. They call this area the Bay of Islands, and it's just perfect to explore by paddleboard or dinghy. One of the evenings, we went with all the other cruisers in the area on a mission across the bay. We were making our way to an area where one can see a whole lot of bats that come to life as the sun goes down.
See, like they're in the trees.
Oh, yeah, or hanging. Coming down all the way. It's a reef, you know.
You gotta just hold on to the vegetation, camera.
Hello, welcome to Cameron Stores. On the left there's one. Oh. Look at the fat one.
All the big impact. Go on, Daniel. Don't fall out though.
Okay, look this way, everyone. Might take a
Step back a bit.
Where's it back?
Back a bit.
That worked really good this time, Andrew. Yeah.
You know what it is? It's a hotel's gonna get, or the restaurant's gonna get business from all the hotels.
Checking out the bats was something different to do on our last day at Vanua Balavu. The next day we all left together to make our way to the Southern Lau.
Hello, Tara.
Hello.
Why don't you give us a little recap?
Okay. We arrived in Sevusevu. Then we went to Wailagalala. Is that right?
Wailagalala, yeah.
That's too much. And we caught up with some friends. And then we went to Duff and we stayed
And
with
that was
some
epic,
friends.
wasn't
And
it?
it was very nice.
We went.
And then we went to Bay of Islands and we caught up with another boat of friends. And now this group of yachties are going to
Ongaya.
And,
It's in the Southern Lau.
and we are going to go Niao there overnight and arrive at maybe midday.
Yeah, something around there. Between morning and midday, hopefully.
Yep.
And then it's time to explore another place, eh?
Yep.
And off to Fulaga after that before the next lot of bad weather arrives. And we're probably going to stay there for a little while, eh?
Yep.
But anyways.
Our original plan was to sail all the way to Ongaya, but the winds weren't quite as forecast, so we decided to stop at the Yagasa Cluster for the night. The next morning we carried on south. Unfortunately there was no wind, so having to motor we decided to go straight to Fulaga. Motoring along is definitely pretty boring, but in calm conditions like that, it allows for some other antics. When we arrived at the pass at Fulaga, the tide was still streaming out, which isn't really the right time to go through. As you can see, the pass is narrow and accelerates the tidal stream in or out. Pete didn't want to wait though, and so our 185 horsepower were put to use to counter the current at the entrance to the pass. Once inside the pass, conditions calmed down considerably, and we made our way through the long and narrow pass. And then entered the lagoon to make our way to the anchorage. From the anchorage it descends, but it's a dinghy ride across to the bay where a path leads across to the main village. We made our way across to present our kava to the village chief, along with 5 boxes of the Fulaga book, which we brought up for the village from New Zealand. Our friends all came along with us across to the village, so we could all do our sevusevu together. As Fulaga is famous for their carvings and kava bowls, there are amazing works of art to admire and of course purchase. We always stop by the school, make new little friends, and also happily buy any fresh fruits the locals grow and are happy to sell. Fulaga is such a beautiful spot and definitely one of our favorites in the Lau group. The anchorage is not only stunning but super protected as well, and the massive lagoon provides such a gorgeous playground to explore. The mums kept busy paddleboarding, and the kids had absolutely no problem keeping busy, especially once they discovered the size of the mud crabs. If the kids weren't hunting for crabs, they spent their days in the water and made the most of those windy days kiting the lagoon. We love and live for these days, spending our time outside, being active, eating fresh seafood, and living as we believe nature intended. Out here, there's no distractions and definitely no boredom. Sometimes all it takes is a few dry coconuts and a group of friends will keep busy and entertained for hours. As we got ready to move on to the next place, we ventured one last time to the village, where we met up with some of our host families who were going to take us up the hill and pretty much back in time. Back in history, the village was actually located up on that hill, as it provided a vantage point to spot any intruders to the island, and evidence of that last great battle with Tongans is evident by some ancient skulls left from those days. The view from the top was just stunning and definitely worth the climb up those rocks. In our next episode, we take you to Ongea, which turned out to be our favorite place we visited this year in the Lau group and became our season highlight. Make sure you like this video and that you are subscribed so you won't miss it. And thanks for watching.